Good evening to all. So, dear aspirants, today we are going to commence Karnataka history dynasties. Dynasties ruled from Karnataka. Okay, the Karnataka history series that we are going to commence today. Okay, so in this session, I will take you through the very important the dynasty which ruled from the Karnataka, Andhra and Telangana region. Clear? The ruling family which ruled in the south, especially the Karnataka, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so these are the regions in which, so there is a dynasty called Satavahanas, right? Okay, let's begin the session. Yeah, so dear friends, Satavahana dynasty, so basically it's the dynasty which comes under the Karnataka history, right? So therefore, in the first session, we are going to commence for the discussion the Satavahana dynasty. Clear? Yes. Okay. So before going to understand the political history of the Satavahanas, so now let's begin our discussion by understanding the sources of history about the Satavahanas and what is the uniqueness of the Satavahanas, right? Sources we get to write the history of the Satavahanas and certain uniqueness that we could able to identify in the Satavahana dynasty, especially in the south region. Clear? The first major royal family, first major royal dynasty which ruled from the south after the Mauryans. Clear? First family which ruled from the south after the Mauryans, that is Satavahanas, right? The first royal family, royal dynasty in Karnataka, that is Satavahana dynasty. Okay? So basically, to know the history of the Satavahanas, we have different sources like Puranas, coins and inscriptions with which we could able to understand the political and cultural history of the Satavahana dynasty. Clear? Okay. So number of inscriptions which were produced during the time of the Satavahanas, which were written in Prakrit language, right? Prakrit language. Okay. So number of inscriptions which are written in Karnataka during the time of the Satavahanas or in Prakrit language and Brahmi script, right? Brahmi script and language which was used to produce the inscriptions of the Satavahana dynasty is Prakrit. Okay? Yeah. And now let's understand the extent of the Satavahana dynasty. Yeah. So this is the extent of the Satavahana dynasty. Yeah. So this is the extent of the Satavahana dynasty. East to the east up to Godavari river. In the west, the Konkan coast in the west, and Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh in the north, and up to Tungabhadra river in the south. So this was the extension of the Satavahana dynasty. Is that clear? So in four directions, if we know extent of the Satavahana dynasty, to the east of the Satavahana dynasty up to Godavari river, and to the west of India, Up to Konkan coast, the Satavahana dynasty has been extended. Towards north, the Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh, which were the borders. Clear? Up to Tungabhadra river, right? Tungabhadra, even beyond Tungabhadra river also, the Satavahanas extended their empire. So this is all about extension of the Satavahana dynasty. Clear? Yes. Okay. So dear friends, now let's understand some of the literary works produced during the time of the Satavahana dynasty, with which we can able to understand the history of the Satavahana dynasty. Clear? Okay. The first important literary works, Ghata Saptashati. So this particular work, which was produced by the 17th king of Satavahana dynasty, called Hala. Hala, he was the 17th important ruler of Satavahana dynasty. He himself was a writer, okay, who has produced a book called Ghata Saptasati. Clear? So this particular book, it has written in Prakrit language, right? So basically this Ghata Saptashati or Ghata Saptasati. So this particular work, which is consisting of romantic poems and also talks about the social life of the people during the time of the Hala. Okay, so Hala, the 17th ruler, 17th important ruler of the Satavahana dynasty, who has been described as a Kavi Vatsala, because he has given the patronage to the poets. So therefore, he has got the title, he has patronaged many poets. So that is why he has earned the title Kavi Vatsala. Okay, Kavita. Okay, so another important the work produced during the time of the Satavahanas, Katantra Vyakarana. The Katantra Vyakarana, it was a book in Sanskrit language. Sanskrit language, which was produced by Sham Vama. Right? Katantra Vyakarana, this was important, the book that has been produced during the time of the Satavahana dynasty, Sham Vama, right? And one more important, the literary work that has been produced during the time of the Satavahanas in Sanskrit language by Gunadhya, that is called Brihat Katha. Brihat Katha, which was a book written in Sanskrit by Gunadhya, right? So that's one more important book that has been written in Prakrit language. So that is called as Leelavati Parinayam. Leelavati Parinayam. This is the book which is talked about the marriage of Hala with Sri Lankan princess. Sinhala princess, who has got married with 17th ruler of this dynasty called Leelavati, right? So that is why, so Leelavati Parinayam, that was the book which was written in Prakrit language, right? Which was written in Leelavati herself. Yeah? Okay. Now, let's move on to the important topics for the discussion. Political history of the Satavahanas, right? So according to Matsya Purana, there were 30 rulers, 30 kings which were ruled the Satavahana dynasty for about 460 years. Okay, as far as Matsya Purana is concerned, okay, the Matsya Purana tells about the political history of the Satavahanas. There were about 30 kings who ruled Satavahana dynasty for about 460 years. Among them, there were many important rulers we have taken for the discussion. So we are not discussing all the 30 rulers and their contributions. The very, very important for the competitive examinations. Okay. So those rulers we have taken for the discussion and their contributions towards the South. Yeah. Okay. So now the first ruler of this dynasty, who was also considered as a founder of this dynasty, is none other than Simukha Satavahana. Right? Simukha was a first ruler who was the founder of the Satavahana dynasty. Yeah. So this particular king, this particular ruler, who has been popularly known as the different names, right? Andhra Jatiya, right? So probably, so they belongs to the Andhra race. Okay. Andhra Bhrityas, Andhra Jatiyas. So like the different names which were given to the Satavahana dynasty, especially the Simukha has been considered as an Andhra Jatiya. That means he might have belongs to the Andhra race, Andhra Bhrityas. Okay. So these two important names which were mentioned in the several sources with which we could able to understand these Satavahana kings, Satavahana rulers who are belonging to the Andhra race. Okay. And there are two important capitals of the Simukha Satavahana. Number one is Amaravati, right? Amaravati. Amaravati is the present in Andhra Pradesh. Okay. So one more important capital of this Simukha is Python. Python or Pratishthan, right? Pratishtana or Python, which is in Maharashtra. And Amaravati, another important capital of the Simukha Satavahana, belongs to the Andhra Pradesh. Okay. Amaravati and Python. These are the two important capitals of the Simukha Satavahana. Right. So now let's understand the origin of the Simukha. Okay. So origin of the Simukha. Possibly Andhra is the tribal name. Satavahana the dynastic name. Satkarni the surname. Okay. So this a very important concept we need to remember. Okay. And Raja Simukha Satavahana has been mentioned in the Nanaghat inscriptions, especially Nanaghat inscription which talks about Simukha Satavahana, and even Nasik inscription of the Satavahana dynasty which calls the family of the Satavahanas as Eka Brahmana. Okay? Nasik inscription of the Satavahana dynasty which calls the family of the Satavahanas as Eka Brahmana. Eka Brahmana is nothing but a unique Brahmana. That's it. So this is all the origin of the Simukha Satavahana. Right? Now let's move on to another important king of this dynasty, Simukha's brother Krishna. Okay? So he was a contemporary of Ashoka. Ashoka the Great. Okay? Among the Maurya kings, there was a famous ruler, okay, called Ashoka the Great. Okay? The Krishna, the Simukha's brother, who was a contemporary of the Ashokan Empire. Okay. So next comes Satakarni first. Satakarni first, he was a son of Simukha Satavahana, right? He was a powerful ruler and he was a person, first time he has performed number of sacrifices like Ashwamedha and Rajasuya, the important sacrifices he has celebrated, right? For the first time, Shatakarni first, who has performed Ashwamedha and Rajasuya yagas. Clear? And so this was Shatakarni first. He has annexed the Godavari valley and assumed the title Lord of Dakshinapata. Okay? The Godavari valley has been captured by Satakarni first, and thus he has assumed the title Lord of Dakshinapata. Yeah? His queen Nanagat inscription has been produced by the queen of Satakarni first. Okay? So she herself has been described him as a Dakshina Patapati. That means entire southern region which was ruled by the Satakarni. Okay? The Satakarni first, who has been sacrificed several what is called Ashwamedha and Rajasuya yagas. Clear? And first Satavahana king, Satakarni first Satavahana king, Satakarni first, he has expanded his empire by making the military conquests. Okay? The first Satavahana king who has expanded his kingdom by military conquests. Okay? He conquered the Kalinga after the death of the Kharavela, the Kalinga ruler. After his death, Kalinga empire, which was annexed by Satakarni first. Okay, the Shungas from Madhya Pradesh, they were pushed back to the Madhya Pradesh. Okay, Shunga dynasty, which was contemporary dynasty, ruled from Madhya Pradesh. Right. So that is the capital city of the Shungas was Pataliputra, and the Shatakarni first, who has pushed back Shungas up to Madhya Pradesh, and there was no worry for the Satavahana dynasty. Okay, so therefore Satakarni first, he was a contemporary of the Shungas in the north. Yeah. So this is something about the very important for all the competitive examinations regarding the Satakarni first. Next comes the Hala, 17th ruler of this family. Right? He was considered as a great king and who has compiled Gatha Saptasati, Gatha Saptasai. So this was a text which has the theme of love. Love theme has been contained in the book that has been produced by Hala, 17th ruler of the Satavahana dynasty. Yeah? So especially this particular work, literary work produced by Hala, 17th ruler of this dynasty, is Gatha Saptasati. It was in Prakrit language. Right? It is mentioned in another text. So this particular person, this particular ruler, the well-known ruler or strong ruler, who has been mentioned even in the Leelavati's text. That is called Leelavati. That was the text which was produced by Bhaskaracharya, who is also mentioned about the Satavahana ruler called Hala. Okay. So there is another important, the minister under the Hala. Okay. So he was known as Gunadhya. Gunadhya, another important, the minister who worked under the Hala, who has composed Brihat Katha. That is also another important work. So usually Kavita Varnava, that means as I mentioned, Hala, 17th ruler of this family, who has been patronized many poets. Okay, so that's all about the Satavahana Hala. Next comes, there is very dynamic ruler of this dynasty, Gautami Putra Satakarni. Gautami Putra Satakarni. He was a greatest king who himself is considered as Eka Brahmana. right? His mother, Gautami Balashi. Okay, the Gautami Balashi. So that is the reason his name ended with Satakarni, Gautami Satakarni, Gautami Putra Satakarni. That might be the reason. So why his name ended with Satakarni and starting with Gautami. Okay, Gautami Balashi, his mother. Okay, who has composed Nasic inscriptions. In the Nasic inscription, she herself has mentioned that my son Gautami Putra Satakarni, who has destroyed the Shakas, Yavanas and Pallavas. So therefore, this particular information which was given by Gautami Balashi, Gautami Putra Satakarni's mother, who has composed the Nasic inscriptions. Okay, he is the person who has overthrown Nahapana of the Saka dynasty. Saka dynasty who were ruled in the north. So they were completely overthrown by the Satavahana dynasty. Satavahana king called Gautami Putra Satakarni. Now let's understand his extension of his empire. Extension of his empire towards the east up to Biror, towards the west up to Konkan coast, towards the north Malwa and Saurashtra, and towards the south his dynasty extended up to Krishna river and up to the Kanchi in the south. Okay, so that is also the description it has been given by Gautami Balashi. Clear? So this was the extension of his dynasty. In the east up to Biror, in the west up to Konkan coast, in the north up to Malwa and Saurashtra, towards the south up to Krishna river. Beyond Krishna river, he has undertook conquests up to Kanchi. Okay, in the south. So this is all about Gautami Putra Satakarni, who has assumed the title called Raja Raja and Maharaja. These are the titles he has. He has got the title Trai Samudratoya Pitavahana. That means he has got the three important horses, three towards the three oceans. Okay, his horses were drank the water from the three oceans. Okay, Arabi Samudra and west towards the east. Okay, towards the south. Okay, all these three ocean water drank by the Gautami Putra Satakarni's horses. So that is the reason why he has got the title Trai Samudratoya Pitavahana. Okay, that three horses he had. His capital was Python, which was on the Godavari in Aurangabad district of Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so this is all about the Gautami Putra Satakarni. So now, Vasishti Putra Satakarni, who has been mentioned in the Junagadh inscriptions. As per the Junagadh inscriptions, he has married to the daughter of Rudradaman first. The Saka ruler Rudradaman has given his daughter to marry with Vasishtaputra Pulamai. And even so, they were ruling from western Kshatrapa dynasty. Okay, Rudradaman first, the Saka ruler who were ruling from western Kshatrapas, who has given his daughter in marriage with Vasishtaputra Pulamai. Next comes Yagnashi Shatakarni. Yagnashi Shatakarni. So he has recovered the North Konkan and Malwa from the Saka rulers. He was a lover of trade and navigation. His coin have been found not only in Andhra but in Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. These are the regions where we could able to obtained his coins. That tells about Agnashi Shatakarni, who has ruled uh, his empire up to Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh in the north and Maharashtra up to the south. Okay, his love for navigation and overseas trade, that has been that important. The concept has been revealed for us by the ships. Okay, his ships has been mentioned. The ship has been mentioned on his coins. That shows he was a lover of navigation and overseas trade. Yeah. So last ruler of this dynasty was Pulamai IV. The last ruler. After his rule, his empire has been fragmented into the 5 smaller kingdoms. Thus, the family called Satavahanas came to an end. So this is the political history of the Satavahanas. In the next session, in the next video, I will come out with the cultural contributions of the Satavahanas, right? So thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.